Hello, everybody. Welcome to this evening's sprint. How is everybody doing today?
I'm doing great.
Me too.
I'm joined by the wonderful Sarah and Charlie today. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves and your channels, and then we can get started?
Sure. I have not done this in a while. I'm Sara Lubratt. I make writing content here on YouTube. I'm currently working on a science fiction story for camp and kind of like making videos chronicling the journey.
Sweet. Nice. I'm Charlie, and I am currently. I think it's too late to start Nano. So I have given up on my idea, and now I am just working on completing my rewrite of a high fantasy novel. And yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, that's cool. You were doing children's stories at the beginning of the month, weren't you?
Yes, I was. The only time I worked on that project was when I was on your stream last.
No. You got some work done on it at least. That's fine. And how's writing sci-fi coming along?
It's definitely a new experience. It is definitely like a soft sci-fi because I am such a fantasy writer that like it's not that sciencey. It's more just like space fantasy. It's interesting. We'll see what happens. It's just fun right now.
Yeah, I've got the same thing with. I'm supposed to be writing a paranormal story, but it's more paranormal fantasy than it is just paranormal because I can't quite get my head out of the whole fantasy aspect of it. It's actually rather difficult to do so.
I totally understand that.
Michael is here. Hello, Minty. Good time zones, everybody. Need an H. I'm good, thanks. Twin Tails. Robin is here. Hello. Lauren is here. Kate is here. Hello. How are you? Melody is here as well. Hello. How is everybody? We are here to be productive, I guess, in some way or another, whether that's writing, cleaning, exercise, whatever floats your boat. But yeah, for those of you who are here to do some writing, what is it you are going to be working on today? Projects. Sarah?
That's a great question. I would like to get to writing today, but I honestly might have to be working or reading. I think I'm going to switch it up every sprint. We'll just see. It'll be a surprise for me too.
We'll see. Yes.
What are you reading?
I'm currently reading A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, which is the second book in the From Blood and Ash series.
Is that Sarah J. Maas?
It's Jennifer L. Armentrout.
No. Very, very Sarah J. Maas sounding title. That's why I asked.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I know that you're a fan of Sara J. Maas. That's why I asked. I was like, she got another book out already, really?
Yeah, that would be impressive, but no, not quite.
Charlie, what about you? What specifically are you doing in regards to your revising?
I am probably going to be writing, hoping to. I'm like in the middle of like an intense action scene, but I have a habit of procrastinating writing when I should be writing, and using writing as a procrastination for everything else. So we'll see. I might end up crocheting because I learned how to make an eggplant recently.
That's awesome.
Yeah, procrastination is the favorite tool of a writer, really, isn't it? I feel like if we're not working, we're procrastinating.
It is something a lot of us are really good at.
Yes, definitely. Right, we don't want a sprint right now, but I do need to share the screen, so it's there. Right, okay. The plan is today to do 2 24-minute sprints and then hopefully a 16 if we can fit it in at the end. I am going to be working a little bit on Project Mystic today, which is my paranormal fantasy. I've burnt myself out trying to write my middle grade already today. So I've done the 2K for that. And I'm like, no more. Let's just move on to something else so I can actually get some words in. Sam? Minty has finished their camp project, but they've decided to start a new one and currently working on world building. Haven't you just finished your camp project though?
That's amazing.
Immediately going on to another project.
That's awesome.
That is dedication. I like that. Melody is editing their dissertation. Kate is trying to catch up on camp count. At the moment, I'm at 1K for the day, trying to double that. Should finish chapter 48 today. Hopefully, you can get some good work done during the stream. I'm sure there's plenty other streams going on today as well if you need any extra help and accountability to catch up. Regina is still editing, did the math, and my vampire sequel will be 330 pages if it were a paperback. That's a good number for a book.
I like that number.
Definitely. It's a nice number, isn't it? Twin Tales is working on my book like always. Need to catch up on my nano goal. Laura and Amanda, hello. When I finish work for the day, working on my romance thriller. Robert is migrating work to Scrivener and reviewing the work as it goes. Are you copy pasting over to Scrivener or are you writing it by hand over to Scrivener? You got to do the little wave, Regina. Without writing, I feel like I have nothing to do, so let's do this. Yes, absolutely. If you've got more stories in your head to be told, then absolutely, definitely get them out. That's why I have too many projects to count, because I just can't help myself. So, whoopsie daisy. Okay, let's get started with the first sprint. If everybody is ready, I want... That was the right button. I always press the wrong button at least once during a stream, so be prepared for that. If everybody is ready, we are going to start our first sprint, 24 minutes, and we'll begin in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Okay, that is the end of the first sprint. This one. Yes, that was correct. Woo. I managed, between being distracted, 555 words.
That's
With
good.
being distracted, that's really impressive.
A really awkward part of the story, which is basically two characters just talking. So nothing really happens except for character information and a little bit of foreshadowing. So it's like, how do I puzzle together all these little pieces of conversation that I've sort of dumped onto the page into something that is coherent? So comes and goes. It was okay.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
What did you get done?
I ended up having to work during that one, which is fine, but like not ideal. I wish I was writing. I'm jealous of everyone who's getting to write during this stream. Yeah, but I might shift over to potentially filming a video in the next sprint. And then hopefully that'll make me feel like I'm doing something like writerly.
That sounds like so much fun.
Do you have a fun video planned? You have so many interesting videos that you do and so many interesting experiments.
Thank you.
It's like
I passed 4,000 subscribers yesterday.
yes,
Oh my
I noticed. Congrats.
Wow.
Thank you. I was honestly shocked, but very excited. And so it's kind of like a celebratory subscriber milestone.
Wow.
That's
That's so
you.
exciting.
I remember when I first watched you, it must have been when you first started on AuthorTube. It was a video about passing 200,000 words.
It was like my
in your first draft.
I think like my first video.
Was that your first video? I remember watching that. So like seeing you like from when you started to how much you have just exploded over this past year is like, it's absolutely fantastic.
Thank you so much.
To
That's
watch.
really sweet.
It's so inspiring. It's just like, wow.
Thank you. That's really nice.
Charlie, how did you do in that one?
Well, I got some feedback from critique partners and from some editors, and so I was just going through what they gave me, but I did manage to get 256 new words.
That's good. That's
Nice.
great. Is it a lot of editor stuff that you have to sort out, or is it
It's
sort of
for different-
easy?
It's for a different project. It's a completely different project that I got stuff back. So I'm going to probably go over it after this stream because I don't want to alternate between projects.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's that much. There's just some issues with my first chapter that isn't. I guess I may as well as say it. My first chapter starts with waking up, which is
Yeah.
very cliche. And so even though it makes sense that the MC is waking up, it's kind of a huge turnoff. It's not kind of, it is a huge turnoff to the big people up there. I'm referring to agents.
Yeah. See, that's the difficult thing because obviously every agent has their own opinion and sort of things like that are subjective.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those cliches where it's like, yes, it's overused, but if done in the right way, it could also work really well.
Yeah.
And it can be done in an interesting way. So it's very difficult to sort of think to yourself or to even know exactly what
Yeah, exactly.
agents do and do not like, and specific agents and what they do or do not like.
Yeah.
It's trying to prepare everything for the masses, but also trying to be a little bit more, I suppose, specific towards the specific agents that you want to be submitting to.
Mm-hmm.
Robin, mainly transcribed because I'm also expanding on the word count. Oh, let us know how you did in the comments as well. Always forget to say that. Nia is here. Hello, Nia. Moon Petrie dropped in for the last 16 minutes and got 507 words in 16 minutes. You got
What?
That's so good.
That's awesome.
Sin is here. Hello. Oh my God. My button, please. Thank you. Twin Tails, 710 words.
Amazing.
Oh, we've got all the speedy fingers on this in the comment section today, haven't we? Nia, watching a tutorial.
What is
Get
the
to
tutorial?
write soon. What is the tutorial? Yes.
Great
Minty
question.
took a very nice shower. Congrats.
Thanks, guys.
Amazing accomplishment. Sin is doing art. Art, what's...
Yes.
No, that's the wrong word. Sin. What art are you doing? There we go. That made a bit more sense. Regina edited 1,000 words. Kate 249, slow words for me. Still got words though, so that's not a bad thing. I go for a jiffy for a walk around the block and say I've got another 1,000 subscribers. Nia, it's an Aiden thing. I don't care if the character is waking up if it fits and works for the story. Yeah. But it's on the agent's no-no list. So it's obviously on everyone's no-no list if you are an editor. That's just how it goes. Robin, no number, but it was a good sprint. Kate ducking out for a nap, still recovering from COVID. So I'm going to try this chapter 48 business later tonight. Happy writing. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And I'm so jealous that you get to nap. Sounds like it's too late for me to nap, but sounds like a fantastic idea. Sin's fallen into a Tolkien hole, so I'm attempting a misty forest landscape because inspiration. Oh, that sounds cool.
That's awesome.
You will need pictures. Do either of you, do you two do art as well as writing? I know you do, Sarah.
I paint a little bit. I used to be a lot more into it until drawing started annoying me because I'm too much of like a perfectionist that like I hate it when like a line is wrong. So now I only do paint, but I don't paint with brushes. I just like don't paint on a canvas. So I don't know if you consider that or not. It's creative expression. It's just
That's so great.
it's just, different. But
Yeah.
sometimes.
I love doing art. I crochet, I journal, I bookbind, I paint as well, but I use like watercolors. I can't paint on a canvas. It scares me, and I do a lot of doodles. So yeah.
That's awesome. You do bookbinding?
Yeah, so I make
That's so cool.
I make junk journals and I make bullet journals for people. So yeah.
That's so cool.
See, I've always loved the idea of either bookbinding or making my own paper, but I just don't have time to do any artsy and crafty stuff. The most I do is my bullet journal, and that's basically just doing doodles and making a calendar.
That's so artsy.
Yes.
And sticking stickers. I used to do art a lot. But yeah, I just can't sit and focus on drawing stuff. I don't know what it is. I think it might come down to a little bit of perfectionism. I think it might come down with I don't want to see how bad my talent is after all of this time. And I just don't like what I draw, but at least some form of creativity outside.
Exactly. And just to let you know, I have become obsessed with drawing houses for no apparent reason. But the thing is, I found out this trick because I used to be a complete perfectionist until I started doing junk journals, which is basically me copying and pasting a bunch of stuff onto a page, collaging it and calling it art. But what I did is I just used like a fine line or whatever, something like really small to draw my houses. And then I used a brush pen to go over my lines so it looked like I knew what I was doing. And then I splashed a bunch of color onto my houses so that even though I have no idea how to do perspectives, it still looks like a house.
That sounds so cool.
There are so many ways to sort of try and get over perfectionism. Like I used to suffer with it a lot with writing, especially.
Yeah.
Until I did NaNoWrimo 1 year, and I was like, I don't have time to be a perfectionist. I have to write 50,000 words. So that sort of slowly drilled it out of me. And obviously the knowledge that, you know, you go back and you rewrite and you revise over and over again until it fits better with what you have in your head. I feel like it's not quite the same with art, because drawing on a piece of paper sort of feels a bit more, even though you can rub it out, it sort of feels a bit more permanent than typing something onto a computer, which you can very easily erase and you can very easily change.
But that's the thing, though. What if I feel like I'm totally that person that can just revise forever.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't revise forever. I just get frustrated with reading the same thing over and over again and then changing it over and over again. So I much prefer the drafting phase, despite the fact I don't like that my words don't sound great. But I don't know. I just don't like trying to turn it into something better, because I'm like, what if I make it worse? What if it was fine? But again, it's all about, that's just my personal perspective on my piece of work that I've done, which is, we'll get over it eventually. Nia, audio and video editing software. Boring, but I've got to do it.
That's cool.
I like that. Sin erases 100 lines and ends up liking the first one best. Yeah. It's artistic and it's amazing. Sin loves bookbinding too. Ah!
Okay.
How did you enjoy your cup of water, Michael? Watercolors are pretty, but not that good with it. Love charcoals, but the mess, my face is always grey afterwards.
Wow, that's cool.
I love charcoal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can't wait to make my own journal and art book. Jenna writes, Romance, hello, how are you today? Melody's lurking, want to finish editing this chapter by 23 by 11 o'clock. You've got time. I wish I knew that before figuring out the whole perspective thing. That is actually a really, really cool loophole. Revision is something I love and hate at the same time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You've got to be in the right mood and mindset for it to really be an enjoyable thing there, don't you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, let us go into our second sprint. Let me share. Oh, no. Did I stop sharing the screen? No, I didn't. Oh.
Okay, Sara, I want to ask you how you came up with the system of 24, 24, 16. Like, why those numbers?
Oh, okay. It's 24, 24, 16, because when I do my writing streams in general, I do 8 minutes, 16 minutes, 24 minutes, and 32 minutes. And I created my own timers for those set times. So it's literally, what is a good time to do a sprint? 20 is a very good time. I don't have 20. 24's not the closest, but 24 is a good sprint for everybody to do. It's not too long. It's not too short. That's literally what it was.
Awesome.
I don't like using the Google timers. They look ugly.
They're hideous. I totally agree.
So I was like, these are the timers that I have. I'm just going to pick one and I'm just going to roll with it.
Love it. But I had to ask.
That's literally the only reason. Right, so if everybody is ready for our next sprint of productivity, 24 minutes, and we'll start in 3, 2, 1, begin. Okay, that is the end of the second sprint. How did everybody do? What did everybody get done? I managed 623 for that sprint, and I finished the scene that I was on. So
Nice.
Yay for progress. It's a lot longer than I expected it to be, but I can fix that later if I need to.
You think it's too long?
I don't really have like a word count aim for any of the scenes. It's just what I thought it would be in my head, or the length I assumed it would be in my head. It's just longer than I thought it would be. So I had more words to write for it, clearly.
That makes sense.
What did you guys get done?
I kept working, and then I filmed the intro to my next video.
Nice.
Good.
Sounds very productive. I got 441 words.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good. Well done. Twin Tails, my sister is coming to visit next week. I just know I won't get anything done. It's all got to get done this week. How much have you got to do this week? And do you think you're going to be able to get it done without burning yourself out? That's the question. Lauren got about 400 words into my opening image. Sasha is here. Hello, how are you? Ashley is here. Hello. Jenna got 479 words. Megan managed 676, trying to catch up on Nano, 20,000 words behind at the start of today, and I've just hit 4,500, so hoping to add a little more. That's good. Obviously, it's not good that you're behind if that's something that bothers you so much, but at least you've written this month.
Mm-hmm.
At least you're getting your words done, which is all you can hope for, really, at any time of the year. Right. I have a question for everybody. Are you planner, plotter, or plantser? I don't know why I have to say plantser like that. I just do. How do you...
I love it.
Plantser. British. Yeah, how do you guys do your stories? Do you plan them out? Do you outline? Do you just go ahead and throw words down onto a page and hope for the best?
Mine's definitely the last one. I cannot outline to save my life.
No?
I think my life would be a lot easier if I could, but it doesn't work. I'm definitely a pantser.
I'm in between that because sometimes I just need to organize my thought because I feel like too much is happening on the page. So normally I will outline either into my second draft or in the middle of my first draft. In this case, for my current whip, I drafted an outline in chapter 20. And then in chapter 21, I abandoned my outline because I reached that point and I was like, okay, I think I'm done my project now. And an epic fantasy, unfortunately, does not end at 60K words. So.
Yeah. Totally feel you on that.
Yeah, I understand the struggle.
Yeah. I'm a bit of both as well. Like, I want to be a plotter. I really do, because I love the idea of having a solid outline to go from, because where I trip up and where I stop writing is when I get stuck and I can't force myself to think of things. So I always want to go in with an outline, but I just get so bored writing the outline and trying to figure it out and trying to think of what makes sense. I'm like, that one sentence will do, and that's my outline, and then I just write from there. and I still get stuck, but
I think the most I've kind of outlined, in which I've actually used my outline, is I've outlined like the character's motivations for a scene, and it's kind of weird how different that motivations is versus actual writing, because I'm like, oh, and now this person's gonna throw a tantrum because this happened to that person, but like when you write that, you don't obviously say it like that.
See, I find that interesting that you outlined with your character's motivations in mind. Like, I completely ignore my characters while I write the first draft, which is a very, very sucky thing to say. But they have their name and they have, like, this is the goal that they want to achieve in the story sometimes. But then anything that I outline is basically plot, this big event happens, this big event happens, this conversation happens, and just like that. And then the characters probably don't end up with any sort of character arc or clear motivation or anything like that during the first draft. It's literally me getting down the plot, and then the character work for me, like all of their motivations and goals of the scenes, comes later in my revisions.
Does that make your revisions really tricky?
Not always. Sometimes it does. I think I remember a very long time ago with my first novel, the motivations for the protagonist weren't clear. And then it got to like the 5th, 6th, 7th draft, and then I changed the motivations, and then I changed the motivations and character arc of a different character, which changed the plot, which made for very, very awkward revisions. But I've been getting better at sort of inputting those sort of things in the first draft. But I think it just depends on how much focus the character's motivations affect the plot. As I write the first draft, that determines how easy it is to then add all of the proper motivations in and all of the necessary reactions, etc., to everything that happens in the story.
So was it, I don't remember if it was you, Sarah, Sarah with an H. I just realized. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so was it you who like plans out how much of each type of thing or at world building or character or whatever is in each chapter? Is that no? Okay.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No. You continue. It's fine.
Okay. Someone I know revises by going through and categorizing each section of the whip into either character development, just for fun fillers, world building, or like plot based. And I always find that so cool. Like, I want to strive to do that, but at the same time, I'm like, that's so much. Like,
oh, like they're working out the main focus of each chapter.
Yeah. And
okay. I used to do that. I don't do that anymore. But I used to do that because when I was revising, I wanted to see where I was falling short of certain aspects. So, yeah, I went through chapter by chapter, and then if a chapter was focused more on just getting information or character building, then I'd color code it, and then depending on how much color was in my overall bird's eye view, I could see what I needed to take away and what I needed to add to make the story a bit more balanced.
That is so cool.
But that was a very, very, very long time ago that I should do that again, actually, because that was actually very, very interesting to do so.
That sounds awesome.
Very, very long time ago. Yeah, I think it was in my one of my bullet journal videos. I just flipped through and mentioned it. That's what I used to do. It's a very, very fun, I wouldn't say experiment, but it's a very, very fun thing to do, just to see as a first draft, what it is that you focused on while you were writing and what it is that you perhaps didn't focus on as much.
Yeah.
So it's color coding as well, and there's nothing wrong with color coding.
Okay, because I also know Sarah, without an H, wrote your last project in all different docs, right? Because you had different perspectives. And that's also cool because I totally write chronologically. So I switch perspectives, which is why I have my motivations laid out, because I forget who my characters are in my scene, because I'm constantly like I'm writing it like I would watch Shadow and Bone type of thing, where you're going back and forth constantly from character to character.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I don't know. I find that cool.
Okay.
So
my
different documents, yeah.
Sorry. My
Is it different
story? I'm actually writing chronologically for the first time ever, and it's so hard. I have so much respect for people that write chronologically. The last one started, or like the most documents it was in at like one point in time was 22. And then I got it finally down to like 4. And then it was honestly a nightmare. It worked, but it was a nightmare.
So is it full-on different Word documents for each and every single perspective or scene or chapter that it was that you did?
Yes.
Wow. It sounds really cool.
I could never find anything. That's the worst part.
I was about to say, it sounds really cool for organization purposes.
It took me like a full 8 hours one day to like go through and like categorize everything in each document so that I knew where stuff was. But like if I had to like search for something, it would take me like a full hour to find it because I had to open up like every single document.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm very, very envious of people who write chronologically.
See, I usually write chronologically, but then I have different folders and different files, but all in Scrivener. With everyone's different scenes and perspectives in it. But Project Mystic, I'm not writing chronologically. I'm writing it really weird because I split it up into scenes, which I never usually do. I'm literally just getting people to pick a random scene number, and then I will write that scene. I
love that.
So I wrote scene number 1, and then scene number 7, and then scene number 12, and then scene number 6, and then so I just flipped all over the place. So it's working well so far. I don't have to write chronologically, and it's more I get to focus on this one scene, this one sort of own story in itself. Trying to then make all the scenes fit together. And like, what did I mention in scene 6 that I wrote 7 days ago? Now that I'm writing scene 7, it's working out so far though. But yeah, chronologically writing can be really difficult sometimes, especially when you hit a certain part that you are either not in the right mindset to write, or you just can't think of what it is that you want to write, or it's a really, really boring part that you're just like, I really don't want to do this right now, but I have to in order to get to the next part. I think it's the problem with writing chronologically.
I have this thing where I write the inciting incident, and then I need like to break up with my project because I'm bored of it. The inciting incident happened, it was amazing, and now I would like to write the ending, but I refuse to write the ending because I write chronologically. But yeah.
That's really funny.
You should totally write non-chronologically for a day, because writing the ending might actually help then write what comes after the inciting incident.
True. That would be a fun experiment.
Yes.
And you can always rewrite the ending then when you get back to it, if like that helps you. So it doesn't have to be the ending that you stick with, but if it helps you get there, it could be worthwhile.
Yeah. Okay. Anything to keep yourself pushing forward. And if that is writing non-chronologically, or if it is writing a random scene between 2 characters that you know isn't going to be in the book, but it's in your head and you just want to write it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did that.
It's also
I did do that with my last project. I ended up switching perspectives for one scene, and I thought that was like I was like I should make this dude a real perspective, and then I was over my supposed word count by the end of the novel, so I just deleted his perspective, and it made me happy to see my word count go down.
Wow.
see one whole entire perspective. I don't know if I could ever delete. I don't know. I suppose it depends on, am I trying to force myself to specifically write these characters because I enjoy these characters? Do I really need to have this person's perspective in order to make this story the story that it needs to be? Yeah, it's really interesting how everybody has their own different little ways of doing things as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You learn so much from everybody. It's so much fun.
Yes, I totally agree.
Right, so do we want to go into our third sprint? We can do a 16 or we have time to do another 24. Which would you two prefer?
I don't like choices.
I feel that on like a spiritual level.
Like, we make too many choices in one day to have more choices.
Okay.
Right.
Because Charlie doesn't want to choose, I feel I would be down to do 24 again.
Honey, I'm home.
Yeah, 24 it is. Let me bring up the screen. It's all there ready. Lovely. Right, so we are going to be going into our third and final 24-minute sprint if everybody is ready to be productive. Mm-hmm. And we'll start in 3, 2, 1 and go. Okay, it's the end of the last sprint. How did everybody do? What did everybody get done? I didn't do any writing because I very much realised I can stop that screen now. I haven't quite outlined Act 2 and any of the scenes in Act 2, so I just went around reorganising my Scrivener document in order to prepare for the mild outlining that I'm going to need to do. So that's what I ended up doing. What did you get done?
I ended up filming pretty much the rest of the video, which I'm feeling very good about. It like fit perfectly in that sprint, so perfect length.
Love that.
Yeah. Still bummed I didn't get to writing today, but I'm glad everyone else has been so incredibly productive.
You've still been productive even if you haven't done any writing, though.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not the productivity that I want to be doing, but it is still productive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got 557 words that time.
Nice.
And I have no idea what's happening next though, so I'm gonna have to like sit on it for a while.
Yeah.
Awesome.
50 popped in. Hello, Ashley and kids played Stardew Valley.
Is that
Sounds like a
video game?
Yes, I think it's like a farming simulator, sort of like Animal Crossing, I want to say.
Sounds right.
I've never played it myself, but from what I know, that's what it is. Twin Tales wrote about 600 words.
Wow.
That is fantastic. I'm very glad that the stream has helped you out. We all managed to get some work done. So the fact I'm procrastinating most of the day. But yeah, people and accountability helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Definitely
Right.
does.
Yes. I know that if I want to get any work done that I don't want to do, if I either vlog myself doing it or do it on a stream, I know that I'm going to get it done.
True. Actually, I feel like some of my biggest word counts have been when I vlog myself, like do a time lapse of me walking, even though I only use like 30 seconds of the clip.
100%. There's something so incredibly it's like pressure, but not bad pressure, because like the camera's on and it's watching, and so therefore you have to be doing stuff. And it helps keep me off my phone. I love vlogging writing because I get so much more done.
Yeah. I do a lot of sprints in Discord as well. If I'm not feeling bothered to write, I'll set up a sprint and I'm like, okay, now I have to do it because there's other people there who can see that I'm supposed to be working.
Wait, do you have a
Discord?
Discord?
I need... no, I am part of a couple. I'm part of Kate Kavanagh's Discord, and then Sin is writing, has a Discord as well, so I'm part of that. The Author Tubers Discord, and I think it's Kaylin Rivers Sprint Squad Discord as well. So lots of people for me to stick in a sprint and be like, okay, now I need results because people know I'm supposed to be doing some work. But yes, it is very helpful sometimes to have other people there watching you. Nia finished the tutorial. 50 got one task completed. After the next task, they'll be current. That's fantastic. Nia wants to write for the rest of the evening. You have plenty of time, though, to do some writing for the rest of the day. Sasha finished the 80. I had to finish my chapter. Yeah. To be the amount of times I will keep writing through someone talking on a live stream. I do it all the time.
If I'm
I do not just stick.
I'm either so active in the comments that I don't write, or I'm not active at all because I am writing through talking.
Yeah. I'm exactly the same. I use the voice as a podcast because it's still sort of accountability in some way. There are still people there.
Yeah.
Sin used to have that with Sprinto in Discord. I feel like I have to come up with something that the era has passed for me. Yeah, a lot of people tend to use Sprinto and stuff for basic productivity. So they will do random tasks as well, as opposed to just writing. But again, it's still a very, very good way to be productive if you don't want to be productive, because people are still watching you. Love it when that happens. Yes. Finishing chapters and getting words done is always the best. Right. So it is 11 o'clock my time, which means it's my bedtime. Not that I'm going to go to bed.
Seems smart.
Yes. So we are going to call this stream to a close. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Do you guys want to do an outro before we leave?
Sure. Why not?
We'll go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you so much, Sara, for having us on. This has been fun. I'm Sara Lubratt. I make videos about writing. I want to know what was so funny. Sorry.
My husband sits behind me and he's watching Impractical Jokers at the moment. So
okay. Perfect.
Always a big laugh. Let me mute while you guys talk.
Okay, that's really funny.
I love that.
That was awesome. But thank you guys so much to everyone who popped in to come write with us and hang out. Before you guys leave, make sure you give it a big thumbs up because that really supports Sara's channel. And Charlie?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun talking to everyone, even the people in the comments. It was amazing. And yeah, I think that's it for me. I post videos every Friday and random times when I feel like it, because why not? Gotta be productive at something. And yeah.
Awesome.
Both Sara and Charlie and Sherri, I also do believe, are all linked down in the description box below, their YouTubes and their Instagram, so definitely go and check them out. I'm Sara, and thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.